Justin Gaethje, lack of booking.
Yeah.
He tells UFC that, he wants to fight.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks he's that guy, but they won't book him.
So he hasn't fought since Khabib, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And Khabib, last time Khabib fought was when? Like early 2020?
September, no?
Was it September 2020?
September, yeah.
I think, yeah.
Well, actually, no, October, I think. Wasn't it? I don't know. But
I think
it
it's
was
somewhere around there,
time.
yeah. So he hasn't fought for 6 months now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that his biggest, the reason why he's talking about this is because Chandler and Oliveira were the ones chosen for the vacant title. So of all the lightweights currently, like in the top contendership, is I was gonna say Connor, but whatever. Connor.
Disrespect. Disrespect.
It's just the first one that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
Connor, Dustin, Charles Oliveira,
Chandler,
Ferguson, and Gaethje are probably the top 6.
You hesitated on Ferguson.
Yeah, because he's like he's on a down.
I'm gonna walk out, honestly.
It would be my guess.
Like,
Take some cake with you.
There's no cake left.
Yeah. So I think what happened is Justin Gaethje just got left out of that matchup situation. I remember we talked about this before, where I really said there's really only 5 people in this equation. There's not really 6. Like Tony Ferguson is one of the top contenders, but he's not really in that conversation for potentially fighting for the title or a number 1 contender fight.
He
So
lost 2 in a row, right?
it was really, because it's really Connor, Dustin, Chandler, and Oliveira.
But the person
And
who wins the
and
Conor
Gaethje.
fight-
Sorry, and Gaethje.
And Gaethje,
So
yeah.
that's 5 people. Just mathematically speaking, it's an odd
it
number.
doesn't make
Somebody has
sense.
to be left out. So who's gonna be left out?
Actually,
Chandler.
6 people, right?
Who's the 6th one?
Ferguson.
No, I'm saying excluding Ferguson.
Why?
Because Ferguson, you can't put him into a number 1 contender fight.
Yeah,
That's
you
what I'm
can.
saying.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm saying, so there's 5 people that could have been put into a number 1 contender fight. Of those 5, Connor and Dustin are linked together because of that trilogy stuff. So now you have those 3. You have Justin, you have Charles Oliveira, and you have Chandler. Chandler and Oliveira are coming off wins, right?
1 win for Chandler.
Yeah, they're coming off wins. Justin Gaethje is coming off a loss and hasn't fought since October. So I don't blame the UFC for matching up Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler, because they also tried to do that before too, right? If you remember, they tried to match up Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler, but because of the short notice, Charles Oliveira turned it down because of whatever weight cutting or that fast turnaround. Yeah, because he just came off the win with Tony Ferguson.
Well, how long are the camps though? Like 6 weeks, right?
It depends. Some people do 10 weeks, some do 8, some do 6. It really depends, but I believe you can do fine with 6 weeks, right? That's enough time. Some of them are 4. Or some, it depends, right? Especially if you came from another fight. If you started,
because you need the recovery time in between, right?
Yeah. So I think that also has to be taken into account as well. Chandler and Oliveira were being put potentially in a fight previously. So now the UFC probably was already working on it. These both guys came off of wins. They're more relevant. Let's just go with that. And you kind of have to do the vacant title, because if you do Conor versus Dustin, you can't involve the title with that, because Conor you
can't justify Conor winning the title, right?
Yeah, you can't justify Conor being in that title, the second slot for a title. But
also though, at the same time, like the biggest L like for this whole group of people right now, is Poirier, because he's won so many fights now. And I think loses the Conor fight, what happens next? Right?
I think he's known from for a while now that the fight that he was going to fight next was always going to be Conor. Not because it's not his choice. It just doesn't make sense not to do that trilogy, right? He beat you before, right? And you just beat him, and he's the biggest figure in the entire sport. So why turn down a fight with Conor to have a trilogy when you know you're going to make a lot more money? You're going to make a lot more sponsorships. You're going to gain a lot more eyes. You're going to have all this stuff.
But his whole thing was
as opposed to a title.
Belt,
yeah, but he can in his mind as well. He knows, or he thinks, he believes himself that he's going to go beat Conor. So now what he gets to do now is that he gets to beat Conor and then go on to face the person for the title. In his mind, he tells himself he's a champion. The only real difference here is the championship the contract, because when you're a champion, you get pay-per-view points. I think for this next fight with Conor, I think Dustin is going to be very, very smart with this, and his manager, and going to be like, hey, listen, I get what my contract is. We got to rework this, especially for this fight, because I can hold out on fighting Conor, and you guys are screwed. Like, what is Conor going to do? He's going to go fight Justin Gaethje? Okay, go ahead. But that's not as big as fighting Dustin Poirier himself for the third time. So I feel Dustin, in his other interviews, my impression, what I was getting from it, is that he knew that the Conor fight was going to be next, because Dana was saying that he knows all this money opportunity was coming, but he also made it clear that, hey, even though I know this is probably the most likely fight, I want to let everybody know that my goal is to become champion and to get what I'm owed, right? So
I'm deserved top 15.
He's deserved title fight, honestly. I kind of wish that they didn't do Chandler versus Oliveira for the title, and they just did a like it was mini tournament between Charles Oliveira and Chandler versus faces the winner of Conor versus Dustin.
But then
that would have been good.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I guess they want to go off of this news of Khabib retiring and just instantly put in a title fight. Yeah. But which, like, I get it, but whatever.
Yeah.